the meeting of the Board of Police Commissioners at this time. Please, everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Kyle, could you put that flag up?
There it is.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Now I need a motion to go in executive session to discuss and review internal affairs investigation on Inspector Denigris with witnesses. I'm first going to name everybody that will be allowed in executive session. It will be the total Board of Police Commissioners, all 5 police commissioners. It will be Attorney Brian LeClaire, Attorney Ben Proto. It will be Inspector Joe Denigris. It will be Anthony Bento, Attorney Anthony Bento, Union President John Skowski, and the first witness will be Chief Paul Sinkowski. Okay, have a motion for that.
This is Kyle. I make the motion.
Motion by Kyle.
John Duke, I'll second that.
Who seconded that?
John Duke, I'll second that.
Okay, John Duke seconded that. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Opposed? Abstention? So carried 5-0. We're going to executive session at 6:12. Can you, Kyle?
We're doing sequestration. Normally, if we were all in the same room, we would be able to know if someone else was there. That's not readily evident in a video conference. So I do think that we need to administer some type of oath or something where individuals who are sequestered video, we would have no way of knowing if someone was in the room when they were outside of video. You understand what I'm saying? In other words, if we sequestered John Skowski, there would be no way for anyone to know that if John was sitting right next to me, just not in the purview of video. So I do think that we need to administer some type of oath that everyone acknowledges that they're not going to be in either earshot or viewing of what is happening, that they're truly sequestered.
Dave Bitso, I agree 100%. I expressed concern a couple times in the last week to Chairman, to our chair. So I agree we should all take an oath that we are by ourselves, we are alone, and there's no one else in the room.
Correct. The only one that might be in a room with me is my dog every once in a while. But other than that, nobody else that could understand
I kick mine
what
out.
we're talking about will be in the room.
This is Attorney
Okay.
Proto. The question to Chairman.
Yes.
Chairman, is it the practice of the commission during these hearings to administer an oath to the witnesses?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I would suggest then and advise that it would be best to ensure the sequestration as best we can. I'm not quite sure, is it who's running the IT part of this, but maybe you can just explain your method for sequestering those people who are going to be so quote unquote out of the room during the video question and answering, so it's on the record.
This is Kyle. So the way it's going to work is once we go into executive session, Chief Sinkowski will stay. I will put Detective Ditria and Detective Matasovich in the waiting room. That will remove them from this here, and they will stay there available. And once we're done with Chief Sinkowski, we will allow whoever the next witness is to be entered in. And to the chairman's point and to Attorney Proto's point, we are requiring that anyone on this video call is alone, not recording, and visual at all times when in question.
And just again, for the record, once you put someone into the waiting room, they are unable to either see the proceedings or hear the proceedings until they're removed from the waiting room. Is that correct?
Correct. Once in the waiting room, you will see nothing or hear anything, just a black screen, if that. You will hear nothing. The only people that will be able to hear or see anything that's going on in the call are the only people that are permitted in the meeting. Once you're removed, and put into the waiting room, you can come back and forth, but that's at my discretion as I am the host for the call.
Very good. Thank you.
I understand the virtual waiting room, and I'm appreciative of that. The issue I'm seeking to highlight, and not that I'm suggesting that this is going to happen, but just for purposes of example, I sense that Deputy Chief Rinaldi and Chief Sikowski are in the same building. I think they're literally right across the hall. If they're kicked out virtually of the room, we would have no knowledge other than some type of oath if Deputy Chief Rinaldi literally walked into Chief Sikowski's office and sat behind the computer and he was outside of view. We need something to say that everyone acknowledges that if they are outside of the testimony, they truly are outside of the testimony. The virtual excuse for everyone to be outside is not enough, because individuals could be in the same room without any knowledge of any of us.
Would it, and this is to the attorneys, would it be adequate to go for everyone to go person by person to basically speak to that point that I swear that I'm by myself, or the proceedings while we're in this, something along those lines on the recording as we are here now?
I understand Mr. Bento's point, and I think it would be helpful. And I guess this portion of the meeting is still being recorded. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yes.
So I think on the recorded portion of the meeting, it would, I think, behoove the commission and the recording for each person to indicate that they are alone, that no one will be joining them, that if anyone does join them, they will so report immediately, and whatever is occurring will cease until that person leaves the room. That would include spouses, children. The dog's okay, I think, Bob, but other than that, I think it would serve the commission well to have that on the record, as this is an executive session and a personnel matter.
Chairman, I'm 100% fine with that. If okay with you, if I could call out the names, just I can go right in order as it sits on my screen, and it'll go with the recording also in the video recording.
Kosklowski, Chairman, that's fine with me, Kyle.
Okay, so first, Attorney LeClaire.
Yes, Commissioner Kelly, no objection to that, sir.
Okay, and myself, no objection to that. If something changes or somebody enters the room, I will stop and I will notify, and we'll cease what we're doing at this point. Chief Sikowski?
Yes, no objection. I'm by myself.
Chairman?
I'm by myself.
Deputy Chief Rinaldi?
No objections. I'm by myself.
Attorney Bento?
No objections. I'm by myself.
Inspector Denegers?
No objections. I'm by myself.
Union President Oskowski?
No objections. I'm by myself.
Commissioner Duke?
No objections. I'm by myself.
Attorney Proto?
No objections. I'm by myself.
Detective Ditria?
No objections. I'm by myself.
Commissioner Bent?
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. I just want to clarify one thing. Just understand the layout of my house. I'm in a room and people have to travel back and forth to make it to the bathroom, but I am wearing earplugs and I'm facing the camera outside, so nobody can hear what's being said and nobody can see what's happening on the camera. But and obviously you can tell there are some dogs in the background. I apologize for that. I would try and keep them as quiet as possible.
Thank you. Commissioner Bitso?
Yep, I'm alone, along with my dog.
And Detective Matasovich?
I am alone.
All right, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner
Okay,
Kelly, Mr. Chairman, it's Brian
Yeah.
LeClaire. One comment and one question. Just to correct Commissioner Kelly, he indicated that the two detectives were going to be put in the waiting room. Deputy Chief Rinaldi would also be going in that waiting room, and Deputy Chief Frazier, when he joins and is welcomed into the room. Number two, is the waiting room going to be recorded while people are in that room while we are not being recorded? Just to be clear, so.
Nope, nothing will be, once the recording is stopped, nothing is recorded.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay, also, Commissioner Kelly, this is Chairman Koskolowski. Commissioner Kelly, also include in the waiting room is Deputy Chief Robert Rinaldi also.
So I'll amend my motion to add Deputy Chief Rinaldi and former Deputy Chief Frazier.
Correct. Okay, are we all set now?
I guess one other thing, Mr. Chairman, it's Brian Leclerc. We have Mr. Oskowski, the union president. Are we putting him in the waiting room? We haven't, no one's indicated what they're doing with John.
I was under the impression he was staying.
Yeah,
He's staying.
John would be able to stay to represent the local to assist. He's not going to be a witness.
That was mentioned earlier that he was staying.
Okay, thank you. I didn't hear.
Okay. Okay, since there's no other questions, could I have a motion to go in executive? Oh, we did have the motion. Could I have a vote now to go in executive session? All in favor? All the commissioners, just state your name and say aye or nay.
Kyle Kelly, aye.
John Duke, aye.
Dave
Tom
Bitzel,
Bennett, aye.
Chairman,
Bitzel, aye.
aye. And Dave Bitzel said aye. All in favor, 5-0. So we're going to executive session now, exactly at 6:22.
I'll make a motion to come out of the executive session, or if somebody else did, I'll make a second.
Okay, Dave Bitzel made the motion to come out of the executive session at 10:14.
I'll second it. Tom Bennett.
Second by Tom Bennett to come out of executive session.
I'll make a motion to put this meeting to recess until 6 o'clock tomorrow evening.
And that would be May 14th.
May 14th tomorrow evening. Yeah.
I'll second that.
And the three witnesses that are going to be called for tomorrow are Deputy Chief Frazier, Detectives Manasovich, and Detective, who else?
Ditria.
Ditria.
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
Is that the three that you're going to call tomorrow?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
Who's going to be first, Brian?
Either a Detective Ditria will go first.
Okay. So if
followed by, God, I'm sorry.
Let me ask a question, so as we don't tie up all three of them all night. Is there a way to just have them on standby that someone can text them or call them and tell them to log in, so they don't have to sit here for what might be a couple hours?
I think that'd be fair. I personally do not have the former deputy chief's cell phone number. I would assume maybe Deputy Chief Rinaldi does. So maybe one of us can get that. And Mr. Leclerc, or Attorney Leclerc, you said you're going to start with Ditria?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll tell him to be on for 6 o'clock, and we'll let Matt. I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I just kind of took over its habit.
Yeah. I just want to know, is the union attorney going to call any witnesses?
We will at some point. I think it was our expectation, though, that the first 3 days were going to be used primarily for the department's case in chief. Do you think you're going to be able to finish tomorrow, Attorney Leclerc?
Yeah, I'm hoping, because I believe the first two witnesses will be very short, and the last one, I think it'll end quicker than tonight's, hopefully. It depends on how many questions they have against for the Deputy Chief Frazier. But I'm hoping that the town side witnesses will be completed tomorrow night, and we will start on the union witnesses on Friday.
If you remember when we set up the meetings, there was an expectation that maybe the governor would change how social distancing or how we would be opening up the state, because I think that both parties, specifically the defense, that would have liked to had some of the meetings in person. I think that continues to be our expectation. Does anybody have an opinion on, based on how we're opening up the state, whether we could get together in some type of fashion?
I can tell you from the meetings I've had with the town, and Bob, chime in wherever you can, there's a process that they're starting to develop. They haven't developed it yet. It sounds like May 20th, there's going to be some type of something, but I haven't got anything firm, to be honest with you, to say, okay, you know what, we'll cancel Friday and, do next Thursday instead, right? That I haven't seen. So I think trying to give a firm date and time is not an easy task.
Dave Bitso here. I'd like to just suggest that we conclude this week with the, well, lack of a better word is, what the Seymour Police Department side, hopefully tomorrow, but if we have to go into Friday, so be it. And then we set up meetings for next Wednesday to commence, and hopefully that is the 20th, and maybe there'll be some change by then. But if there's no change on the 20th for us to be able to meet, and this thing's not going to break until June, I can't see us, as much as I'd like to meet in person, I was an advocate of that from day one, I can't see us waiting until June to conclude this session.
The only thing I see for May 20th is that's a regular scheduled meeting. I don't know how that.
Maybe the 21st. Then.
Okay.
You're right. It is a regular scheduled meeting.
How have you noticed the May 20th meeting?
That's a regularly scheduled meeting, Attorney.
But have you noticed it as a Zoom meeting or is it in-person meeting?
Well, we don't know yet, bro.
Yeah, it hasn't been posted yet, so.
Okay.
Excuse me, the way they.
Oh, you muted yourself, Bob.
Sorry.
There you go.
The way the agenda is being filed, it's filed at Zoom, but if possible, in person at the police station. Because we're not sure, because the 20th is a date where they're saying, and I'm hoping because we have enough meeting areas in the Seymour Police Station that we could be 6 feet apart and wear a mask. It could be in our main meeting room, or it could be upstairs in the conference room or the training room. So, I mean, hopefully we could get it done next week to start meeting in person, because I would like to meet in person also on this very important issue. But we also have to look at the individual who's been out for 3 months on administrative leave. He has, you know, we have to look at his situation too, just as ours. Not so much that we're paying him while he's out. It's just that we got to look at what's going to happen with this individual in that position. So at this time, I just want to make sure that we dot all the I's and cross all the T's. But let's complete the town side. If we complete it tomorrow, then that'll be completed. And then we'll reschedule, recess until March 21st. I mean, March.
May.
No, you don't want to go March. May 21st, okay? Joe might want to go to March, but no, we're going to May 21st, okay? At 6 o'clock at the Seymour Police Station or Zoom. If we can't do it in person, then we're going to have to start on Zoom, okay?
I think that's fair. I agree with that.
And then 2 attorneys get together to find out what witnesses the union's going to be calling, so that we will have a list of the witnesses before our meeting on the 21st. Okay, because we have a regular scheduled meeting on the 20th, which is either going to be in person or on Zoom.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Okay. Mr. Proto, is that okay with you?
Yeah, I mean, I think we probably should have some conversations with the First Selectman's office and probably your emergency services folks, including your police department, to determine how the town's going to reopen on May 20th. I think Commissioner Kelly was kind of alluding to that might kind of be an amorphous plan at the moment. But obviously, I think we just need to see where the town is at and how they're planning on moving forward with their reopening.
Mr. Chairman, we have a meeting tomorrow afternoon, and Deputy Chief Rinaldi, I think, will be in there too. So we can ask the question. Bob, please remind me if I forget. But we have a meeting tomorrow at 4:15. So maybe we actually have some more insight come 6 o'clock when we get back together here.
Yeah, Commissioner Kelly is in charge of the Seymour Ambulance Corps. So, I mean, he's one of the frontline individuals. So he keeps us updated when things change for medical reasons and so forth.
Yep.
Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
So now,
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I just like to, if I can, remind Deputy. I like to, if I can, just remind Deputy Chief Rinaldi not to discuss his testimony tonight with anybody else involved in this case, just like we did with the other the other folks that testified.
Okay, very good.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Kyle, you said we're going to recess till tomorrow night at
Yeah.
6 o'clock.
Yeah,
correct?
made a
May
motion to recess until May 14th at 6 p.m. back here on Zoom.
Do I have a
Commissioner
second
Kelly,
to
just
that?
a question, if I may?
Yes.
Chairman, Commissioner Kelly?
Do I have a
Um,
second to that motion?
Attorney Proto has a question.
Just a question. Is it
Yes.
this, are we going to use the same link that was sent out? Will get us back into this meeting?
Yes, as long as
Yes.
I start the right one, like I didn't do this afternoon.
Yeah.
But yes.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you.
Do I have a second to Kyle's motion?
Second.
Second by Dave. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I oppose. Anybody oppose? Okay, all in favor, say aye. 5-0. Okay.
Somebody wake up Oz. Oh, there he is. He's moving.
It's late. Everybody have a good night.
Thank you.
You know
You
what
too. Be
time-
safe.
Everybody have a good
Good
night.
night. Good
You know what
night.